Hey, this is Kevin Chia, the founder here at evergreenaffiliate.com. And today I want to talk to you about proofing your concept, which basically means that you want to go to the marketplace and see if they're ready, willing, and able to pay for something that you're looking to launch, okay, that you're looking to release into that marketplace. And this can work for an affiliate product very, very well. Of course, it can also work for products that you're selling yourself. But in this case, all I'm doing is I'm going to show you an example very quickly on how I can go and proof this concept before I ever worry about developing it, that particular product, or marketing a particular affiliate product. So in this case, I'm going to show you a little bit of a weird example. I'm a bit of a gamer, and I'm going to use that particular sort of micro niche or obscure niche in order to test this particular concept. And as you can see here, I'm using Screencast-O-Matic. That's why I brought you to this screen here. And the reason I'm doing that is they have a free launcher that I'm using right now. And this will allow you to create a demo, much like I'm doing right now, where you're walking the person through the concept that it is that you're looking to offer them. And a video is a great way to show a screen share that's going to allow you to show components of what it is you're doing. Not the whole thing, but enough to get their attention, and you explain enough of what you're doing in order to get the yes or no vote, okay? In order to explain enough in order to allow your marketplace to know what the value is that you're bringing. Now, if you don't want to do a video recording like this, you can also do a image, okay? So in this case, part of the process is to go and create an image. And I go to canva.com to do that. And I just grab the image based on where it is I'm going to be looking to make my proof of concept. And today we're going to be using Facebook in order to see whether or not the market is interested in what I'm about to develop, offer, or look into possibly offering. So I'm going to use a Facebook post template here for my design. So as you can see in this tab here, I've created my design and I've used a template for the Facebook post. And what I've done is I've uploaded 3 different images, and I'm going to walk them through why this image is not as valuable as this image. And then I'm going to give them a bit of a zoomed in look so that they can see the value for themselves, and then ask them, is this something that I find valuable, or is it something that would be valuable to more people than just me? Because this is something that I'm going to be doing for myself anyway. Is it something that maybe the community would also find valuable? And that way it's a post more or less talking about how I find value in this particular approach, this particular method. In other words, how I find value in the product or service that I'm about to offer them. Okay, so from here, I can make a post that explains that value, or I could create a video that walks through these 3 images and shows the value of the 3 images, or these 2 images compared to this image here. This is what would be the industry standard. This is what would be normal, in this case, a normal map for this particular game. And I find that these maps are a little bit more useful. So at this point, I can go and create a post or a video post on Facebook that's going to allow me to just see whether or not my marketplace shares the same opinion that I do. And the way to do that is very simple. You're going to go to Facebook. You're going to find a group, a marketplace that hangs out in a group forum. As you see here, this is a closed group, and allows me you to make a post on that group. Now, I want to be clear, guys, that this needs to be something that is allowed in the group. This needs to be something that does not violate their rules, okay? And by asking for opinions on something, oftentimes you're not going to violate that group. This is not the time and place to sell. This is simply the time and place to ask whether or not your concept is a good idea. And you're not marketing, you are simply saying, what is your opinion on this concept? There's no mention here of sales, or I want to sell this, or I'm looking to start making this product. You don't want to go into that at all. Okay, so this is something that you just want to talk about. Hey, I find this valuable. Do you also find this valuable, or would you find this valuable? So I'm going to take a moment and create this post for you so I can show you an example. All right, my post is ready to go, and this is a bit of an obscure situation because you're probably not in this particular marketplace, but I just want to give you a little bit of the format that you would use in this case here. So first of all, I create an opening that is going to create interest in the post. So I say I have a bunch of D&D maps from different worlds, box sets, expansions. What this is going to do is get people to know what it is I'm talking about. And if they're interested in that topic, then they're going to potentially look at my post. Now, it's a pretty long post, so they're probably going to see read more right around this area in here. And at this point, I also tell them what the problem is. So here's what I'm talking about, and here's the problem. I find a lot of time I find the details in the area maps lacking. So if they agree or they want to see what I'm talking about, they're going to continue to read. If they're not interested in this, then they're not going to continue to read, and that's okay. They're not the kind of person that I'm looking for in order to determine whether or not this is going to provide value to them. So I say, for example, in area 1 below, and I talk about area 1 here, this is the area map for the Derrick and Central Market, complete with scant detail. That's the problem, okay, on anything but the general shape and scale of the market. And now I go into, this is the introduction of the problem, and then I go into the problem here. So we have curiosity and or just a statement of what the problem is here to create curiosity and help sort whether or not someone is going to read the post right at the top here. Then I go into the problem that I'm occurring, and then I go into my solution here. I've since mapped out the entire Central Market using the 5x5 grid, and people in this marketplace know what this is, and they know that, as I say here, to account for every need I might have as a DM or player in the scantily detailed area. Again, I talk about the solution, and again, also point out the problem, as seen in example 2 and 3. So I should actually do that for proper grammar. Or punctuation. Does anyone else find this level of detail useful in their campaigns? So that is not a salesy question. This is a question where I'm simply asking, does anyone else find the level of detail that I'm putting into my maps useful for their campaigns? And they're going to be given a sample right here, as we talked about earlier. And this right here is going to allow me to get some engagement. So what I'm going to do is post this right now, and then hopefully come back in a little bit with some engagement. As I have posted it, I notice here that my post has been submitted and is pending approval by the admin. Again, this is something where every group is going to have its own rules, and you need to be knowledgeable of those rules. You don't want to get removed from the group. You can use them as a valuable resource for building out your business. But in this case, it's going to be pending approval. So the DMs, or the DM, the administrator for this group is going to be able to determine whether or not this is an appropriate post for the group, and it's either going to be rejected or not. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on to see whether or not this is something that I'm going to be able to even use in this particular case. But this example can be used in many other groups and forums, and it will allow you to get an idea of whether or not your marketplace is interested in the very specific solution that you're going to offer them to a very specific problem. Again, my specific scenario is it's an area map that does not have a lot of detail, and my solution is I've recreated the map with a ton of detail. That is a very specific problem with a very specific solution, and that is the format that you should be using when you're trying to determine whether or not your idea will have merit in your marketplace.